What is going on, guys? What's going on? Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's going on, guys? Let's see who is in the chat. Anonymous donated $20 already. Thank you so much, Anonymous. Where's my SHIB army at? Okay, if you want to talk about SHIB, we could talk about SHIB. Does anybody have a phone number for KuCoin? I don't think they have a phone number. Try emailing them, though. I think they have good email support. Market sell-off. Yeah, turnaround Tuesday. Z getting his coffee. I was. Tesla. Wow. I mean, it's still above $1,000. Market dropping hard. But guess what? Market is dropping hard, and we still have a green portfolio today. So I love seeing that. But yeah, I mean, the market is really been going on for really been going up, melting up in a sense. So, we were due for a turnaround Tuesday. Regine, bonjour. What's going on? What's going on? Kunal, what's going on? Z Diddy. Chris Wolf, I be selling the rip. Yeah, I mean, if you're short term, today is a good day to start trimming if you are short term, depending on what you're holding. Kenan, what's going on, man? You're at the gym? Dope. Wish I was with you, bro. Wish I was with you. Although I have to disagree with you. You're probably better off listening to music than to me, but you might learn a thing or two here. Where does PayPal become a buy? Yeah, we'll talk about PayPal as well. We'll talk about SHIB. Let me know what else you guys want me to talk about. Chirag says, "What's up? What's going on?" Great call on Roblox. Sold for 700. Yes, Roblox was amazing. I actually posted this on Twitter. So I sold half of my calls for almost 600%, and I sold the other half for almost 800%. So yeah, it was definitely a crazy ride, and glad that you guys can jump in that. First time on the live show, not recorded. Hey, I just want to say thank you. No problem. No problem. Made 1,000 on one call option on Roblox. Chris Wolf says, yes, it was that kind of pump. I mean, when you're buying call options, which, I don't do often, but when you're buying call options, those are the types of moves that you want to see, those one-day moves. It's a perfect case scenario on a call option that expires, on Friday, basically. It expires in a few days. So for you to buy it one day and then the next morning it rip up 30%, you really can't ask for anything better from a call option. That's exactly what you want. And you want to sell it immediately because time decay is a real thing. As the days progress, it's going to take a hit. Time decay is going to take a hit on that option. So yeah, and guys, hit that thumbs up as well. It definitely helps the algorithm, especially with the live streams. Better off trimming on a red day. I mean, Susan, I don't know what you hold, so I can't say for sure, but yes, you are better off trimming if you think that the market is toppy and we're going to see a turnaround. If you're long term, you don't worry so much about the day to day. What happened with Roblox? Roblox crushed earnings. That's what happened. But I posted this yesterday. I was saying that we noticed that there was heavy flow on the 84, 85 calls. And this is for those of you that aren't privy to this. These are we're basically looking at call options to see what the market sentiment is regarding a certain stock at a certain time. So for the November 12th expiration, which was this Friday, we saw a lot of calls coming in. Now you can look up calls in a few different ways. There are a bunch of paid tools that you can use. I personally use Market Chameleon, but you can also find this stuff in Thinkorswim, right? So if you go to the where would you go? If you go to the trade tab in Thinkorswim, and you just look up a certain option, right? Open up the expiration date, you could see that there are basically statistics for each option, right? And so you have the volume and you have the open interest. So if you look up the volume tab, you could see what the volume is for each single strike price. So you could do this for free using Thinkorswim, or you can use something like Market Chameleon, which to me lays it out a lot more cleanly. So this is what we were looking at yesterday, and you could see that the 84 calls yesterday had 5,000 calls coming in. The 85 calls had 1,300 calls coming in. So there was definitely bullish sentiment on Roblox. And then if you look up the order sentiment as well, this is a metric that Market Chameleon keeps, but it basically tells you that folks are paying the ask price or above for call options. So that's how they determine whether something is bullish or not, is by how enthusiastic call option buyers are. So putting that together, the fact that Roblox was somewhat a stock that wasn't really paid attention to, and it hit critical support, right? Roblox was a stock that hit really high highs back in the summer at above $100, and then kind of fell to support. And it was a somewhat bullish stock, especially if you've been tracking the metaverse conversations, and it was sitting at critical support. So we did take a chance with somewhat cheap calls, and it worked out for us. Now, we also sold cash secured puts. So for those of you that aren't in the private trading group and you want to join, link is below. But we basically sold these cash secured puts on Roblox, the $70 cash secured puts, because we were happy getting assigned if Roblox actually fell below that. So not only did we have calls as a degen play, but we also sold the cash secured puts on Roblox, and it worked out for us. So yeah, long story short, that is what happened with Roblox. Let me look at the chat. What do you think of EVGO? We'll look at EVGO. I'll look at SHIB, as someone asked. Giacomsetti, thank you so much for your donation to St. Jude's. Oh yeah, by the way, for those of you that are new to the live stream, every live stream we donate the proceeds to St. Jude's, as opposed to you guys giving me super chats, which I certainly don't need, especially not after this Roblox call. No, all kidding aside, it's a good cause, and I think that we're too focused on profits and making money, which is not a bad thing, but it's also good to remember that we can contribute to other things. Ray sold my Roblox calls today for 980%. Shout out Triple T. Shout out back to you, and congrats, man. You sold better than me. All right, so somebody had asked about EVGO. Actually, multiple people asked about EVGO. And guys, leave your questions in the chat. Yeah, EVGO was, I did a video on infrastructure stocks yesterday, and not only yesterday, for those of you that have been tracking the channel, we've been talking about infrastructure stocks for quite a while. And what I was saying is that the charging stocks, ChargePoint is one that I've called out down today, but it was up yesterday, almost 12%. Plug is another one. These things were ready to pop, waiting for the infrastructure bill. Now, EVGO specifically, I think they had a deal with somebody. Remind me in the chat, but they announced a deal with somebody, which is why they popped again. But no, if you're asking whether you should jump in this, no, that is pure FOMO, because there was the initial pop from the infrastructure bill, and then the further pop that was sparked by, I can't remember who the deal was with. Let's see if I can find it in Seeking Alpha really quick. If not, then you guys let me know in the chat. But there was a news story that came out. Oh yeah, General Motors. There you go. So the deal was with General Motors, and it popped again. But apparently they're deploying 3,250 charging stalls across the U.S. to the nation's largest public fast charging network through 2025. So yeah, definitely some enthusiasm and a lot of future priced in here. I would not chase this, as you could see the sell-off happening from, above 1760 all the way down to less than $16. So you don't chase things like this. Now, obviously, there's no way that you would have known about the deal unless you were an insider, but that's really not how to trade. I made an analogy yesterday talking about trading is very much like hunting. You don't wait for all of the animals to start rushing across the savannah to set up your traps. You have your trap set in place, anticipating that animal run, right? I'm probably using incorrect terms because I'm not much of a hunter. So if any of you guys are hunters, you correct me in the chat. But you get the analogy. We knew the infrastructure bill was going to get signed. It was just a matter of time. So when you see these charging stocks that are sitting at major support, and the infrastructure bill was a can that kept getting kicked down the road, you set your traps in place and you just wait for the announcement. And you would have likely caught the jump yesterday. Obviously, we didn't know about the GM deal, but yeah, I would not chase this if you're not in it, if that's what you're asking. So sorry, I'm not really too sure about the full context of what you were asking with regards to EVGO, but that is my my analysis there. Let me go back and see if Giacomo Setti had a question, because he or she did donate. For the DGen play, I made 667% on the trade, and I used some of the profits to buy the options course finally. Amazing, Regine. Thank you so much. And congrats on that. I mean, that, if you had one call, you made a good amount. You made well over $1,000 just off of one call. So Anonymous donated $5. Thank you so much, whoever that was. Hans donated $10. Thank you so much, Hans. If you have a question, let me know. Looking for Hans's question and looking for Giacomo Setti's question. If not, then thank you so much for the donation. EVGO, yes, it was GM. We went over that. Thank you so much for that. Ray, thank you so much for the donation, $5. Are you David Blaine? I used to get that comparison quite often. I used to get David Blaine and, weirdly enough, a young Billy Joel, which is hilarious, along with Matt Barnes, who used to play in the NBA. But yes, I always laugh at your guys' suggestions on who you think I look like. Hertz is doing what they called a re-IPO, which is hilarious. And you could see it jump up now, but this jump isn't natural. This is due to the re-IPO pricing. So it didn't jump 1,700% naturally. But yes, basically Hertz was a bankruptcy stock last year, and they somehow came up out of the woods. So good for them. What extension? Oh, wait. God, I hate when it does that. What extension are you using to read Seeking Alpha without a subscription? I have a subscription, bro. That's how I read it. I'm not using an extension. Do you think the drop on PayPal is a major overreaction? Yes. I think the drop on PayPal is, well, look, it was an overreaction, but this drop right here wasn't due specifically to earnings, because they did actually beat EPS. It was due to cutting of price targets because of negative guidance. Now, in one of my last videos, I talked about Riot as being a stock that I was buying, and PayPal as well, because PayPal was at major support. So I still don't hate that buy. I still would do it again, not knowing, this drop that came about today. But I did say that I would set a stop limit on PayPal because I'm not willing to sustain further losses past 220. Now, obviously, that stop limit would have been triggered instantly with this drop. You wouldn't have had a chance to sell it at 220, but you could have sold it at 212. That is where I would have put my stop limit on PayPal, because I still I wasn't too certain with the fact that we would see a rally again on PayPal. Again, I still think that this was an easily identifiable support level. Sometimes it breaks support. That's what happens. Stocks don't have to follow your chart. So things could break support sometimes, just like they could break resistance, just like they could bounce off support, just like they can get rejected off resistance. So it is just one of these things that PayPal didn't give guidance that the market liked, and a bunch of banks slashed their price targets on PayPal. And that's why you see this drop here. Would I buy it here? Sure, you can dollar cost average, but you also have the ability to wait. You don't have to just keep throwing money at something immediately after a drop. You can wait, see, find a few candles, see if it establishes support. Again, I don't begrudge a buy on PayPal here at support if you did buy it. But as I stated, I would put a stop limit on this because it is, when you're at support, it is a rather low risk, easy play to set a stop limit in case the stock that you're monitoring falls below support. But in my personal opinion, I would wait for consolidation here. You want to see a bunch of candles tell you that, hey, yes, we're willing to find, to uphold the stock. Now, if we take a look at the options data, because this can tell us a lot about sentiment, just like we found that Roblox play along with a bunch of other plays. And by the way, we did have a credit put spread on PayPal as well that obviously is currently a losing play. But what I did with that was I rolled the PayPal spread from November 19th to November 26th. So it's important that to know that managing your options trades is also just as vital, if not more vital, than entering them in the first place. You have to know how to adjust on the fly. And sometimes closing for a loss makes sense. But I had the opportunity to roll this PayPal spread, the 225, 222.50, 225 spread for 5 cents. So I was basically paying nothing in order to buy extra time, right? So we did have a trade on PayPal as well that I ended up rolling. But what I was saying was you want to look at what the options data is telling you. So I'm not going to look at, well, actually, yes, let's take a look at what happened today. So the volume today is insane, 192,000 options open. And you could see that there is a ton of call buying even for the end of this week. So there are some people betting that PayPal actually does find support here. Now, you don't know if these are, YOLO plays or if it is legit sentiment. So in general, you want to go further out and see what expiration has a lot of volume and what the market thinks about that. So if you go out to December 17th, you can see 42,000 options were open today. And you can see a lot of them were open at the 220, 230, and 240 level, right? So there is somewhat bullish sentiment on PayPal going out to December. So I think that the market does think that PayPal finds some sort of support here, at least, if you go further out to December. It might not turn around immediately, but they're betting that, some of the folks in the market are betting that PayPal will see a turnaround by next month. So again, there's no need to rush and buy shit here. You can wait for consolidation. So, and it was still a good trade in my opinion. If you did buy PayPal here at support, you want to buy things at support, as opposed to FOMOing, right? So, all right, PayPal, December 17th expiration. You have the 210, 220 call. I know there is still lots of time, but based on TA, do you see? Oh, I just talked about what I think about PayPal, but you're leaving out, Colin, you're leaving out the most important bit here is how much are you paying for that 210, 220 call? I don't hate it, but depending on how much you're paying for it, that's obviously the most important metric. Thinking of buying a $25 call option on Palantir. Okay, so we'll talk about Palantir. Katya of Denmark, loyal supporter, loyal commenter. I love these analogies. They're kind of messy, but they work. But appreciate it. Barking Shark, I'm buying the course too. Appreciate it. And give me feedback on the course. So far, it's been amazing feedback since we launched it in April and then relaunched it again yesterday. But yeah, Michelle K says LOL. I think you were talking about David Blaine or the young Billy Joel comment. Harry, thank you so much for always donating, man. Harry donated $5. Market overreaction on Lemonade. I don't know. I mean, just because something drops on earnings doesn't mean it's an overreaction. I mean, Lemonade dropped to where it was sitting at support. And you could see that I highlighted the support already, meaning that, I had it marked down. No, it doesn't look like an overreaction. It looks like it's right back at support, and Lemonade did beat on earnings. They did beat on revenue. I don't know what they gave in terms of guidance. remember, guys, what I say about earnings. It's a two-pronged it's a two-pronged event, right? You have the earnings themselves, where you get to see if the company actually beat on earnings and or revenue, and then you also have guidance, because it's really important. Even if the company beat earnings, it's really important to see if they are expected to beat earnings the next time, right? Because companies will report on how they think they will do the next time. They want to give markets an expectation. And so if that guidance is good guidance, meaning if they think that they're actually going to beat what the market estimates the next time around, then you do see enthusiasm, and likely the stock is not going to drop that hard. Even if they beat on earnings, but they give bad guidance, the stock can drop. So with that said, I don't know what the guidance is on Lemonade. I wouldn't call it an overreaction, because it dropped right back down to where it was on support. And you can actually make a safe buy here with a stop limit right below support. I love these entries because they are low risk, high reward entries if they work out. And if not, your stop limit is really close to your support. So yeah, guys, just because something dropped doesn't mean that it is an overreaction. French Montana. Lewis of the Lion says that I look like French Montana. Holy shit, Matt Barnes, I see it. Yes, French Montana was definitely, that's definitely the first, but I can see how people think that, especially considering that people think I look Moroccan a lot of times anyway. But yeah, thoughts on Rivian IPO? Yes, Hulu Viking asks. Rivian IPO is going to go exactly like you expect. It's going to go apeshit, and then people will get caught holding the bag that FOMO'd at the top, just like every single IPO. So yeah, wait. If you're asking me, wait for it to establish sort of a trading level and then go from there. IPOs, what I really like doing on IPOs, and I did this with Roblox, I did this with Robinhood, is I wait for the tanking and you see if it finds support, and then you can actually sell puts once options are released. It is the easiest way to get in on an IPO at a price that you want, right? So for instance, with Roblox, right, there was obviously insane enthusiasm initially. It opened up at like $65, and then it went all the way to $83. And then once it tanked and it was hovering here in the 65 range back in May, we ended up selling a put on Roblox below $65 because I was willing to get assigned 100 shares of Roblox at a price that I determined. Now, Roblox ended up rocketing, and we kept the premium that we sold those puts for. Same thing with Robinhood. And same thing is going to happen to Rivian. But Robinhood opened at, I think it was like I think it was $38. Shot all the way up to like $85. Came back. Now, it found support here, and we ended up selling a put. I think we sold a 35 put on Robinhood. And ended up keeping that premium as well, or closing it out for profit. I can't remember specifically now, but the same thing is going to happen to Rivian. So on IPOs, that's what I like to do. Now, if you want to get in and you're a day trader and you're trying to ride the intraday wave, by all means, do whatever suits you. But on IPOs, I just really sit and wait until it drops, establish a support. And if it's an IPO that I'm excited about, then I determine my price by selling a cash secured put at the strike price that I want to pay for the stock, right? Hopefully that helps your IPO, helps you in trading IPOs in the future. Palantir read today. Yes, I think they had really shitty guidance. I will look at that. Any thoughts on Rivian's IPO? Yes, I talked about that already. Lena says, too sleepy. Hey, Lena, what's going on? You do look like Matt Barnes. Made $200K from Shiba Inu. Should I hold or sell? Kunal, if you made $200K, dude, don't fucking ask questions. You made $200K on your own. Make your own decisions. Could you talk about how a portfolio should be diversified? Yeah, I don't think that there's any difference between a small or a large portfolio, to be honest. And that's why, initially I had done a 10K portfolio that, I didn't do a stellar job of updating. Now it's still up It was up 10% last time I checked, but I'm not as active in there as I'd like to be. However, the reason that I did that is because I wanted to show that, yes, you could still, you don't throw trading strategies out of the window just because you have a small-ish account. And by the way, 20 to 30K is a lot more than most individual Robinhood accounts. So, you do have a okay size portfolio. That's neither here nor there. You essentially would still have most of your portfolio centered around high conviction quality stocks, right? Just because you have a small-ish portfolio doesn't mean that you go for home runs because now you're trying to grow it and essentially blow up your entire account. No, you still want to invest in high quality blue chip stocks. And if you want, devote a smaller section of your portfolio to riskier plays like the Roblox call that only costs $200 and something and netted, above $1,800 or $1,700 per contract. So yeah, but you want to make your risky plays small. You want to make your high conviction plays larger, and you want to pick, 5 to 10 stocks that you have a high conviction on. I personally don't go more than 10% in any one stock. Most experienced money managers do the same thing. That's why you see Kathy Wood selling her Tesla shares anytime it gets above 10% of the ARK portfolio. And then you get a bunch of clowns making videos about, oh my God, Kathy Wood sold her shares. Does she hate Tesla? No, she has a strict rule about her allocation size in ARK. And anytime it gets above 10%, regardless of whether it's Zoom or Teladoc or Tesla, she trims and keeps it at 10% or below. So yeah, I did a post on Twitter yesterday as well saying, that oftentimes newer traders are deterred from, this is what I said. I said, newer traders like to complicate things sometimes. Along the way, they are often deterred from buying boomer stocks. If you just stuck to blue chips a month ago, let alone year to date, you'd be a mini Warren Buffett by now. And I put in NVIDIA, AMD, the triple Qs, which tracks the NASDAQ, Home Depot, Tesla, SOXL and SOX, which track the semiconductor stocks, Nike, Microsoft, XLE, which is the energy sector of the ETF, XLF, which is the financial sector. If you just stuck to those, you'd be on fire right now, right? You don't have to trade risky just because you have a small-ish portfolio. And by the way, again, your portfolio is not that small compared to a lot of retail accounts on Robinhood. Travel With Me donated 20. Is that? Sorry, I don't know what currency that is, but whatever it is, thank you so much. Josh Pierre says, hold fool. I think he's talking to Kunal, who said that he made 200K from Shiba Inu. Kunal, do what's good for you, man. Take some profits, take a vacation, go out and see the world. Regine, Cody reached 52-week high today. Yes, that is amazing because we actually have leaps on Cody. I bought it a while back after Alta had a monster run, and I said that Cody was likely to see a sympathy play from the Alta run, right? Alta being the other beauty or makeup company. However, we didn't see that. And now Cody made a 52-week high, so we finally got rewarded on those leaps. I will likely offload those today, just because I don't know if I want to hold those leaps forever. But yeah, it did make a 52-week high, and Alta, I think, has been beasting it as usual. Also trading near all-time highs, near resistance. But yes, thank you for that reminder, Regine. Travel With Me, do you have a question? Let me know. Susan Andre donated $20. Thank you so much, Susan. Appreciate the donation. Traveling Trader Live or go to class? Well, considering that someone had to ditch class this morning in order to sell that Roblox call, I would say stick here, skip class. No, I'm kidding. Do what's good for you. But yeah, so it was funny. Somebody was on the Discord group was saying that they had to skip class in order to sell the Roblox call for profit this morning. It's all about the Benjamins, man. All right. Susan and or Travel With Me, do you have a question? If not, then I will keep going. Anonymous donated $100. Man, whoever that was, thank you so much to him or her. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. That is amazing. You guys do amazing things every single time that I open these live streams and open up the donations. So yeah, thank you so much for that, whoever that was. Sladium says, thanks for the great answer. Or Sladem, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Not sure what you were talking about, but I appreciate it. I answered quite a few questions. Hey Z, thanks for all you do. Should I hold or sell AAL? That is really up to you. Susan says, right, love that hunting analogy. Yeah. AAL, I mean, Jonas, if you are long term, then hold it. Obviously, airlines will come back at some point. It's just they are slow to come back right now. Z, I currently hold BND and BLV in my retirement account. If you were me, would you consolidate? I really don't like, Tesfa says, thank you so much for the question. I really don't like to give people advice on retirement accounts. Honestly, do what's good for you. I would say that if you have an over allocation in bonds, if you have an over allocation in bonds, then you might want to look at diversifying. But I tend to stand with Warren Buffett on this. If you're asking my personal opinion, obviously consult with whatever financial analyst you're working with that set up your retirement account. But I tend to side with Warren Buffett on this, that bonds are really, should I say, a waste of money. They've really been in like a 40-year bear market. Yeah, it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite investment, right? But again, do what's good for you in terms of your retirement portfolio. But BLV and BND are going to move very similar. They obviously price differently, but if you look at their charts, they are very similar. So if you find yourself over allocated in bonds and for some reason you wanted to move those to an index fund, and move into something that might yield higher gains, even though you're taking on more risk, then again, do so accordingly. Make sure you consult with whoever you consult with for your retirement portfolio. But I don't like to really talk about people's retirement portfolios. So if you want to get me to answer a question, the easiest way to get me to answer it is not to tell me that you're trying to structure your retirement account. Market overreaction on Lemonade. I talked about that already. Bruno, rewind the tape. Z, Square looking decent at 230. Cash secured put. Someone, your IG page scamming people. Yes, unfortunately, that is why I'm trying to get my IG page to 10K so that I can get verified, and we can stop the scammers. And by the way, I'm also giving out a 1 ounce bar of gold that I picked up in Dubai from one of my videos last year, to a random person once the account crosses that 10K threshold. So follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. The handle is right there in the corner, in the bottom right corner. So follow me on IG, and that way we could stop the scammers. Also, I'm a pretty good follow. And enjoy the pictures while you're at it. Square at 230. No, I don't particularly like selling a cash secure put here. Square does look like it wants to reclaim that 300-day moving average. Failed on earnings, failed on revenue. I don't particularly like a cash secure put here. If you're asking me, in my opinion, you have the 300-day moving average to contend with, and you have this very dangerous support level of the channel at 192, right? So if it breaks the 300-day, I can easily see Square going back to this. So no, I don't like that. Now, if it falls to 192, sure, by all means, I will entertain this. All right. Tesla. Yeah, I mean, no secret. Tesla ran really hot. For those of you that think that this is a failure, that Tesla tested the 21 EMA on the daily, not even the 50-day moving average, still trading at near 1100, you're crazy. What Tesla did at 1250 is what is out of this world and what is anomalous and unique, right? Tesla retesting the 21 EMA is what you would expect. I'm surprised it didn't fall harder, to be honest. But yeah, Elon was flirting with selling 10% of his shares. There was talk that that 10% is not going to affect the current float because it's done, off market or whatever. It doesn't matter. Tesla is majorly overbought. Remove the ticker symbol, and if you look at this, you would say, oh yeah, that's a really reasonable retrace. So don't get butthurt that Tesla's at the 21 EMA. Don't even try to claim that this is somehow a loss here. Tesla is still near $1,100, trading only at the 21 EMA when all other stocks are at the 50, 100, 200, some are at the 300. Some major stocks are even below the 300-day moving average. So no. And if you're asking whether I would buy it at 1,100, no. I did the buying when when the masses weren't looking at it, sitting here at the 200-day moving average for almost 2 months, right? That's when you want to buy stocks. All right. If you're going to buy Shiba, is the best time. A lot of major exchanges are about to list it. I would say that I would not buy something like Shiba Inu if you don't know how to read a chart. That's my opinion. Take it for what it is. Stephen Boykins, thanks for the Roblox put. Yes. We also sold a cash secured put on Roblox. No problem. Tin Nguyen donated $5. Thank you so much, Tin. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. I assume that's Vietnamese, and I assume it's pronounced like Min, but with a T in the beginning. But correct me if I'm wrong. Daniel, how was the Laker game? Lakers got smoked, but it was fun. I got to catch up with friends at the game. One of my best friends hooked up the tickets, and yeah, it was good to catch up with people. You looking mad submissive and breedable today? What the fuck does that mean, bro? The sandwich man? What the fuck? Yo, chill. I'm trying to find a way to email you. Email info@thetravelingtrader.com. So yeah, email there if you're having any issues. Thoughts on Solana. For those of you that are in the crypto space, know that I'm big on Solana, although I do think that we might see a retrace once ETH 2.0 is released, and switches to proof of stake like Solana, right? But I still think there's a place for competing technologies, and yeah, I'm bullish on Solana. But once ETH 2.0 is released, I do think we might see a retrace on it. And guys, again, hit that thumbs up if you guys are on the stream and you haven't hit that thumbs up. It really helps the live stream algorithms, from what I hear, much more so than even the videos. So yeah, hit that thumbs up. Good thing I sold Tesla at its peak. Yeah, I mean, I trimmed some Tesla too, and not at the peak. I trimmed some Tesla around the $1,000 mark. Because it was getting too overweight in my portfolio. And I never look and say, oh man, I should have held. Like, I stick to my plan, because more often than not, it's going to work out for you. Did you work in software in the past? What made you leave the industry? Adrian Dev says, yes, I did actually. That was my main bread and butter for years. What made me leave the industry? I like the industry. I actually left the finance industry to go work in software because I hated the finance industry. What made me leave is the fact that I was able to leave, thankfully, right? I was able to not work a 9-to-5. So yeah, that's really it. Otherwise, I love the software industry. I think it's it's a great environment to work in, depending on which company you work for. I like the casualness of it as opposed to the uppityness of the finance industry. Working around a lot of smart, creative people. It was great. And that's, if I wasn't doing this, that's what I would go back to do. PayPal. I talked about PayPal. Rewind the tape. Please talk about Palantir and its drop today. Should I buy some leap calls? Guys, please don't rush to buy something just because it dropped. Wait for it to find support. This is almost a 9% candle here. You know, Palantir did slightly beat on earnings, slightly beat on revenue. Did they give negative guidance? Let us look. I will try to find what the latest is. All right, let's see. Palantir share, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so they rose in pre-market just like PayPal. And they rose actually, I guess they rose outlook as well. Commercial revenue was up 103%, blah, blah, blah. The company reported 34 new commercial customers in Q3. It looks like what happened was probably just a bout of profit taking, because it says we are raising our outlook for adjusted free cash flow over 400 million, up from in excess of 300 million. We expect revenue growth of 40% prior to 30% per our long-term guidance. Alex Karp said we continue to expect annual revenue growth of 30% or greater for 2021 through 2025. So yeah, I guess they raised outlook. I do think that some analysts think that Palantir is way overvalued. So if you look at their valuation grade, their PE non-GAAP is 133. That's the price earning compared to a sector median of 25. If you look at their price to sales ratio, they're trading at 32 times sales. They're trading at 25 times book. So, they're trading at 750 times cash flow. So by all accounts, they are overvalued. Now, I know overvalued does have some subjectivity because, folks are pricing in things that aren't yet readable on paper, like prospects of new deals or whatever, just like they do with Tesla. Tesla is a horribly valued company on paper, but people are pricing in things that can't be yet read on a balance sheet or an income statement, right? So depending on how you value Palantir, you might think it's overvalued or undervalued. I think the market largely still thinks Palantir is overvalued. That's why you get, Palantir trading in this range where it flirts with $30 and then drops back down to the low 20s and then flirts with $30 and drops back down to the low 20s. It's clear that the market thinks the exact same thing. And that's why you see these, this round of profit taking. But I am quite surprised to know that guidance was good, earnings were beat, revenue was beat, and it dropped by 9%. It looks like the market really wants to take profits right around the $27, $30 level for Palantir. With that said, Palantir is one of the easiest stocks to sell cash secured puts on especially when it drops to the low 20s, which I will likely do. It's just, I think that you can wait a few more days to see if it finds support. But yeah, or if you're a long-term holder, you dollar cost average. But buying leaps at $24, no, I don't like that. Especially considering that it's been trading in this range going all the way back to February of this year. So hopefully that answers your question and anybody else that has been asking. Yassine says Roblox. Talked about Roblox, fam. Not only did we talk about Roblox, we were in one of the dopest trades of the year. Was able to close these Roblox calls out for massive profits. We also sold cash secured puts on Roblox. Again, if you guys want access to the trades, link is in the description below. Come be a part of a community of over 4,000 talented traders where we talk about trades like this all day, every day. XLE, still a good investment? No, I think you're a bit late on XLE in my opinion, unless you want to buy it for the very, very, very long term. IONQ is like QS Deja Vu. Yes, we called out QuantumScape as well, and it broke out of resistance. IONQ, let me see. Oh, holy shit. No, there's no way that I'm getting into something like this. I know I saw it on Twitter when it was trading around, I think, $17, popped again, another 5% today, but sometimes you have to know when the boat has been missed. The boat has been missed, in my opinion. Do what is good for you. I just want to make sure I didn't miss Susan's question because I know she donated. She says, I've learned so much from you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Susan. Or Tin's question. Tin Nguyen had donated as well. And guys, if you donated, please repost your question. Tin says, yes, sir, you got it. Oh, about the pronunciation of your name. Leon says, you like Vietnamese girls. Chill. Come on, dog. Like, keep it respectful. He says that every day. I say what every day? Not sure what you're talking about. It means the literal meaning. All right. I guess I'm not sure what you're talking about. I guess I'm a YOLO because NEO is 40% of my portfolio. Yeah, not a good look in my opinion. But do what thou wilt, honestly. Z has a candy cotton painted Tesla on 30s. No, I don't. Is Roblox a good buy at this level? Mario, this is one where you missed the boat, in my opinion. Are there any upcoming catalysts that you think could propel the marijuana sector? Yes, and I do think that, Regine, that's a great question. So, you know, we've been tracking major catalysts all year. Obviously, the infrastructure bill and tapering were two of the remaining catalysts for the rest of the year. And now I think that the market is looking towards the marijuana sector because that is the next thing to focus on as a major catalyst. I do think that the MJ ETF, which is the cannabis sector ETF, is a buy here in this range. It hit major support that it established back in December 2020. I still would set a stop limit at around $13, but I don't mind a buy here in MJ. Now, the talks aren't heating up like they once were earlier this year about marijuana legalization federally in the United States because it took a backseat to the infrastructure bill, to Fed policy, etc. But mark my words, it will come up again at some point, and so will gambling, right? And those two sectors, I think once both of those things are federally legal, we'll obviously see a pop. But I do like MJ here, Regine, as an ETF, assuming that you don't go overweight on your portfolio and assuming that you do set a stop limit at around, in my view, it would be around the $13 level. It's currently trading at around $14.60. Hopefully that helps. ATVI, yes, I like it for the long term. Visa was one that we had called out. You know, when it was sitting here at support, I am bullish on Visa for the long term. I actually just saw a documentary, I think it was on MSNBC, on Visa and how they make money. They really do have a monopoly on the system. But I do like Visa here. I wouldn't necessarily go overweight on it, but I do think there's a place in your portfolio for Visa for the long term. Ant Williams Beats donated $20. Thank you so much, Ant Williams. Appreciate it. And appreciate you always watching. Chill, come on, dog. This is the extra that keep me coming. Oh, yeah, man. People sometimes get out of pocket with these questions, dude. You know, it can't be disrespectful like that. Investing Sensei, you're awesome. Thank you so much. I don't think so, but I appreciate the compliment. F-Cell, I talked about F-Cell in my video yesterday. I do think that the run-up from the infrastructure bill on these alternative fuels and on the charging stocks, I do think that most of the run-up has already happened. Fuel cell is one that, you know, around the $10 range, I think is okay as long as you set a reasonable stop limit. But, you know, you have to take into account that a lot of this run-up is priced in now because the infrastructure bill is something that is known information, right? So, and it looks like it might get rejected at the 200-day moving average. So not my favorite stock here. And I do think the boat has been missed on a lot of the infrastructure stuff that we've been talking about really for months now. Do you think airline stocks are buy for the long term? Oscar says yes. How long you're willing to hold is really the question. My daughter DCA's into Roblox with her pocket money. You know what? Shout out to your daughter, Gunmetal. As long as she's buying Roblox and not buying Robux, which I had an argument with one of my friend's kids about, you know, investing in the real thing and not the actual game. And I think he got it. But yeah, I mean, shout out to her. Good job. What about MP, sell or hold? I mean, I don't, guys, the sell questions, should I sell? This is really up to you. Is it a long-term conviction stock? Is it a swing trade? If you don't know why you clicked the buy button to begin with, maybe you should rethink your strategy. I was asked the other day, what is one thing, if I could, you know, offer one bit of of advice on trading, just one sentence, what would it be? And I would say, and I said, know why you're clicking the buy button before you click it. That's it. That's it. So are you buying it because it's long term? Are you buying it because it's short term? I can't tell you whether to sell or not because I don't know why you bought it in the first place, right? On swing trades, you would have clear and well-defined sell targets before you enter. On long-term holds, you would hold it for the long term and not worry about the short term. So this is really up to you, please. The questions on should I sell, that's up to you, man. Anonymous donated $5. Thank you so much, whoever that was. I really appreciate you. Regine says thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Regine, for always watching and tuning in and asking questions. Fave sandwich from Subway. I think Jersey Mike's is much better than Subway. I'll only eat Subway if I'm like on a long road trip or something and there's absolutely nothing else around. But I'm, boring, so I'll probably just get a fucking turkey and cheese sandwich from Subway. Should I sell I'm not, guys, whether you should sell or not, again, this is your choice. What platform do you teach your options course on? It used to be on Teachable, and now it is moving to Kartra. So, yeah. Shafiq donated $25. Thank you so much, bro. Thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate you, and it was fun hanging out the other night. Z, any dips on Sesson? Oh, and Shafiq, if you have a question, man, let me know for sure. I'll bump it up to the top, but really appreciate the donation. Z, any updates on Sesson? FDA approval, holding a bag. I wouldn't be holding a bag, honestly. Set stop limits for yourself. Sometimes you do get caught, and on Sesson, we knew that it was a binary event, that FDA dismissal could tank it. FDA approval could cause it to rally. If you stayed in, you were okay with that risk. And then, the FDA actually rejected it, so it tanked. And that's fine, but I wouldn't hold a large bag, and I wouldn't enter largely into something like that in the first place. PayPal, no-brainer. I would say so too, but I would also personally wait for support. Can you talk about the real estate sector, like Open and Z? Yeah, I don't like the real estate sector because I do think a lot of the rabid home buying, has already been done. Obviously, it was fueled by almost zero interest rates. And now that interest rates are going to go back up due to tapering as well as Fed policy, I don't like that sector because once interest rates go back up, home buying is going to slow down for sure. PayPal and Amazon deal. Sure. Kelly says, thank you, Z. You are the best. Appreciate you, Kelly. Thank you so much for the unrealistic compliment, but I appreciate you. Did I miss? Do you think Roblox will pull back? Who knows? You get in when it's optimal and let the market, prove you wrong. So I don't know if Roblox will pull back. I'm sure it will pull back at some point. Every stock pulls back. If you ask me when, who knows? Z, when is the options course coming? It's already out, Queenie asks. What is the difference between your Discord levels? I have a year subscription and I want to go up a level. Oh, unfortunately, I think you can only go up a year. But the difference in subscriptions is I do twice a month Zoom calls with the higher levels. So it's a smaller group. We keep it intimate. It is more expensive in order to incentivize people who really want to be part of the Zoom calls and to try to keep the Zoom calls to a manageable number, or else they're just going to be, thousands of people. But that is a difference between, the lower tier and the higher tier. That's it. Thanks for all you do, bro. Have learned and learning a lot. Have made good choices listening to you. Appreciate you. Dem Hooks Travel. Thank you so much for the compliment. All right, Subway went downhill ever since they dropped that honey oat bread. I just used to get wheat bread, so I didn't even know they dropped the honey oat bread. Would not even know. Any opinion on ARK? I don't really like ARK. I've said this time and time again. Their second biggest holding is Zoom. Their sixth biggest holding is Teladoc. not, in my view, not really a good allocation strategy there. I think Kathy Wood is a beast in her own right. I doesn't not mean that I have to agree with every decision that has been made lately, and I don't agree with that allocation whatsoever, considering the fact that we are, at least with the strains of the virus that we know, are coming out of the pandemic rather than going back in. And I think that her digging her heels in Zoom, that's a little strange to me from a very experienced investor that clearly has no problem rotating. So it's not like she, like Warren Buffett, she doesn't make quick and large changes. She does. But for some reason, she's digging her heels in Zoom. I don't really like that. Shirley Fortress says, hit the likes. Yes, guys, hit the like button, please. It really helps the stream out. I appreciate you. Giacometti, Z, could you check my question? Well, if you had posted it right then and there, I would have had your question. Post it again, please. Appreciate you. Sean Longley donated $50. Appreciate you, Sean. Thank you so much, man. Loyal supporter, and definitely a active member on the Discord. Appreciate you, Sean. Bought PayPal on the support you mentioned, expecting some profit in 3 to 6 months. The recent drop is playing on my emotions. If it's playing on your emotions, you should probably get out of trading. Trading should not play on your emotions, my friend. That means that you either oversized or have not done enough paper trading. But in my view, again, as I said before, I would have had a stop limit on PayPal. Snap views. I think Snap is still way too expensive. There is a support level that I'm willing to buy it at. I'll look at it in a second. Options course says, oh, I see vlogs. Yes, I do have an options course. Check the link in the description. What was I looking at? Oh, Snap. Yeah, and there was somebody on the Discord, a few people who made beast money buying puts right before earnings, and made out like a bandit on this drop. But I always thought Snap was overvalued. Its valuation is terrible. Now it looks like it found support here. I don't mind an entry here as long as you set a stop limit below support around $50 is where I put my stop limit. It could see a bounce here. You do see the MACD curling up. It was oversold on the RSI, but just like PayPal had a very similar pattern and broke down. Now you could make the case that Snap already dropped after reporting earnings, and this is where it wants to find support. You can also play a credit put spread here maybe, or a debit call spread, but I personally would not buy calls on this. And if you do enter a position on the stock, I would set a stop limit at around the $50 level. So that is my opinion on Snap. Sean Longley, thank you so much, man. Again, if you have a question, let me know. Other than Palantir, what other stocks in this range are easy? Easy is a word that you should remove yourself from when dealing with the markets. To sell cash secured puts on monthly. I do think Tesla, I've never been assigned on a cash secured put. So I do think Tesla, if you have the money, is a good stock to sell cash secured put. But the first and foremost, the rule on cash secured puts before any of that should be don't sell a put on a stock you don't want to own. Okay? That's where you should start. So find a stock you want to own and then go from there. Hey, you have a very good grip on the stock market when to buy and hold and sell. Kudos, man. I appreciate you, Ramu. I try. I obsess about this stuff every day for almost 2 decades. So, yeah, Lemonade. I came in a little late. Yes, I covered Lemonade already. Rewind the tape. Watching your videos makes me feel like I know you like you're my friend. Days FPV says. Well, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. You know, I certainly have gotten to know some of you in person off of the Discord. I've met some of you, you know, when you guys hit me up when I'm in your town on Instagram. But a lot of people I haven't met yet, and I feel the same way. I definitely feel the same way. So I appreciate you guys. Any words on PayPal? Talked about PayPal way too much. Rewind the tape. You answer my question on Tesla. Oh, appreciate you, Susan. Yes, I was asking if you had a question. There you go. Hey, bro, I'm going to swim with 2 disabled friends of mine. Okay. Appreciate you, Stefan. Bye, and have a good time. And hopefully they have a good time as well. I love these comments, man. Adopt me, please. Oh, I see life says. Man, I don't have any pets or any kids, so I would likely look there first before I adopt you. But yeah, let me know what you bring to the table. All right, Shiba Inu, you are definitely going to get flagged, Dev Sindhu, for the spam. So I'm gonna put you in timeout. All right. Ford, please. Ford, if you're not in it, you have definitely missed the boat. Ford has been one of the most bullish stocks that I've been talking about time and time and time and time and time again. It's been on almost every single watch list. Yeah, donation not to talk food on the live chats, Shell says. Why? I'm just answering questions and having fun. Don't be such a hater. Papa Z, can you please explain about implied volatility, when it can work in our favor and against us? Okay, so I did a whole video on explaining call options. Roman Kachuk or Chuk, thank you so much for your $20 donation. I appreciate you, Roman. You are definitely doing the Lord's work. Shell donated $20. Oh, that's why you were asking me not to talk about food. Are you fasting or something? Chill. Okay, so I did a whole video on explaining call options. I go into IV on that as well. But basically, with IV, what you are trying to do with IV, basically with IV, call options or options in general, right? When IV goes up, options prices spike. Now, IV, contrary to popular belief, IV is a result and not a cause, right? So IV is what happens after the supply and demand dynamics play out on options, right? IV is not something that is first calculated and then has an effect on the options. It is a result of what's going on with the options. Hopefully that makes sense. But basically, when IV spikes, that's when option prices also spike. There's a correlation there. So if you have options, if you bought a call option or put option and it moves in your direction and IV spikes, then you are getting a 1-2 punch combo where you are getting profit from picking the right direction. So if you buy a call option and the price goes up, then you're obviously being rewarded. If you buy a put option and the price of the stock goes down, you are being rewarded. If IV goes up in conjunction with that, you are being doubly rewarded, okay? Now, you can get IV crushed. So say that you bought an option before earnings, and IV tends to drop after earnings. Excuse me, sorry. Say that you bought an option before earnings, IV tanked, then that option will also, the price will also tank as a result of IV. And if the IV drop is so bad, you can even pick right in terms of the direction of the stock, but IV is dropping so bad disproportionately to what's going on with the stock price that you can even lose out on the option just because of IV drop. This is called IV crush, okay? So if you're holding options, you want IV to go up. If you are, or at least stay stagnant and not drop. If you sold options, you want IV to go down because you sold the option when IV was high, and now IV is tanking, which works in your favor if you sold the option to another poor bastard, okay? So if you bought options, you want IV to go up. If you sold options, you want IV to go down, which is why we are most of the time sellers of options, especially around earnings. But once in a blue moon, when the time is right, when the chart looks right, when the options flow looks right, then we end up buying options. But most of the time, we sell options. B. Douglas says, Ford, please. Oh, yeah, I already answered that. I mean, Ford doesn't really need much of a discussion. I think if you're not in it, you missed the boat. We've been talking about Ford since it was $11 or $12. Do you offer a beginner's course? The options course does start literally from the question, what is an option? So it is beginner friendly. It is meant for absolute beginners as well as intermediates. I would not recommend it for people who are very experienced in options. You likely will not need a course anyway if you are very experienced, but it does start right at the beginning explaining what is an option. So don't feel ashamed or embarrassed if you don't even know what an option is or don't even know how to explain it in plain language. The options course does start from the first video is starting off with that question. So it is beginner friendly. Yes. Big Mac or double cheeseburger? I think McDonald's burgers are shit. I would much rather go to In-N-Out. Papa Z, love that name. Mr. J. What's up, Jay? I didn't come up with that name. You sick bastards came up with that name. What about Matic? All right, so let's talk about Matic or Matic real quick. This is one that I've also had a trade alert on. It is coming up on resistance. I do think it is a decent long-term hold. I do think it is, it does have a decent use case. It is, a widely known project team, but it is coming up on support. It is coiling here. You could dollar cost average, but I don't think that there is an opportunity for a massive rally in the short term. Now, if it does fall back to the 50-day moving average or the 200-day moving average, then I think that there's a swing trading opportunity there. Otherwise, I would dollar cost average in it. Every time you say rewind the tape, you were definitely an 80s kid. Yes, I am. I look like an 80s kid. I'm an old man. How do you think about Microsoft? I'll tell you how I think about it. I love that I own it. It is absolutely killing it. And now that it is entering the metaverse sphere competing with Facebook, I like it even more. I do think it is too high right now to over allocate, but stuff like Microsoft, Apple, whatever, unless you're brand new to trading and you opened up your account yesterday, this is stuff that you should own anyway. Z, Veracity, a good or bad long-term play? Papa G says, yes, I like Veracity as well. I actually posted about it in the Discord. So if you're in the Discord, search for my post on Veracity. Oh, somebody was asking me about SHIB. This was like an hour ago, so I might as well go over it. All right, so SHIB at this, forming this bull flag here, which is a pattern that is, to me, very easily tradable and one that we've made quite a bit of money trading SHIB. Especially if you know how to leverage trade. But if you're a new trader, I would not encourage you to leverage trade. This is called a bull flag. This is a signature bull flag sitting at the 21 EMA. I don't mind a play on SHIB here. Now, those of you who are more risk averse or don't want to take on so much risk, you can easily wait for SHIB to pop this bull flag before entering. Or you can wait to see if it falls below the 21 EMA and retest the bottom channel of this bull flag. But this is a textbook bull flag. I don't mind. I don't care. Like, remove the name from this, right? Like, if you guys are looking at this and like, oh, SHIB is a shit coin. Fuck that coin. Guys, is it legal for you to trade? Can you make money? Those are the only two questions that I ask. And if so, then I look for an opportunity. And right now, I think there's an opportunity here forming a bull flag. And again, you can either play the breakout or wait to see if it retests this bottom channel and play that. I would not play this without a stop limit. I would not randomly buy SHIB if you're not trading it using a chart. You don't have to be a master chartist to be able to look at this and play the breakout and set a stop limit as well. So that is my take on SHIB. In terms of its standing as a cryptocurrency, I do think that it needs to burn a lot of coins. As I said in my SHIB video, it needs to burn a lot of coins or else it has no chance, a snowball's chance in hell. Not even that. A snowball has a greater chance of surviving in hell than this does of hitting 1 cent if they don't burn a shit ton of coins, right? It is just arithmetic. This is not FUD. It's just arithmetic. That's all it is. All right. So hopefully that answers all of the questions on SHIB. Nicole retracted her message, but then ends up laughing at it. So now, Nicole Lancaster, I'm dying to know what the fuck you said and why you were laughing. Share the joy with us. What is it that you said? All right. I'm confused. When an alert asks us to DCA, I assume it's for long term. Do we set a stop loss? Okay, so this is going to be really according to your own preference. If it's a short-term trade, then yes, you set a stop loss. Or if it's a trade that you think is risky. If it's a long-term play for you, you normally don't set a stop loss. You will dollar cost average. In my view, I like PayPal, but at the price that it's at and the valuation that it's at, that's why I said that I personally would set a stop limit. You don't have to follow what I do. You can think PayPal is the greatest company in the world and just want to accumulate it. That's fine. You will find no quarrel with me. Like, I won't disagree with you. What do you think is going to happen with the Rivian IPO? I already talked about this earlier in the live stream. Yes, obviously it's going to pump. Obviously it's going to crash. Obviously there will be an opportunity after it finds support. Once it releases options, I will likely be selling cash secured put. Faisal Hafiz says, best live video. I appreciate you, Faisal. And if you guys agree with Faisal, hit that thumbs up, guys. If you haven't already, it takes 1 second. It's right in front of you. Hit that thumbs up. How about Polygon, Matic, please? Okay. Baba, my brother. Muhammad, I talked about Baba quite a bit. I talk about it, I talk about it every single live stream. I don't know why anyone would want to throw their money in a company where we know it's not even obscured, right? It's not even incognito. We know what the Chinese government is doing to Alibaba. It's not like it's suppressing it behind the scenes. It is coming out and saying, fuck Alibaba. They have too much power. We're going to be selling this, taking over this. We're going to be putting Jack Ma in a prison in Mongolia. Like, why would you put your money in that? See, the reason that, the free market is so great, especially if you're an investor, is because the companies are allowed to operate as long as they stay within, reasonable parameters that allow other companies to compete as well. And when they get too big, obviously you start getting into antitrust and breakup talks. But when you have a company that the government is clearly saying hell no to at every turn, why would you put your money in that? So there's no way that you can get me to put money in Baba. Now, I'm not against Chinese investing. There are companies that I think are better suited as long as you are on the CCP's good side. And that's why I don't begrudge people from not wanting to invest in China at all, because they're like, that market landscape just does not gel with my, my views or my outlook on how I think a free market should operate. And I don't begrudge people at all. But dude, Alibaba is just, I just don't get it. There's so many easier ways to make money than trying to force a trade on a company that's being suppressed by an authoritarian government, right? So that's my take on it, unfortunately, right? And I want Alibaba to succeed. I want Jack Ma to succeed, but unfortunately, they're in a different landscape. Polygon, it is currently in an ascending wedge. I would wait to see if it retests the bottom of this channel. For the long term, I do like it. So if you're asking for the long term, then yes, you can dollar cost average on it. But trading wise, I would wait for it to retest that. The descending channel. Tammy, you are definitely getting silenced for your spam about Dogecoin. When would you exercise a call option? Never. I don't exercise call options. It's a lot easier to just sell dude, we sold the call for 600% and 800%. Some people sold it for 1,000%. Like, you're never going to get that exercise. If you exercise the call, the 85 call, and you sold Roblox for 100, you're making 17%, my dude. 17%. You made 1,000% on the call option, right? There's no reason to exercise the call in my view. And I'd never exercise calls. Nicole Lancaster says, Papa Z, and your reaction to the comment had me die. Oh, that's what you were laughing about. All right. Well, I appreciate you sharing. All right, let's see. Very nice video. Thank you, Festival Europe. I'm doing my part. Thank you so much with whatever you're referring to. What do you think of Cardano? Najib says. Okay, Cardano is one that I like trading when it tests major moving averages. It seems to respect those major moving averages a lot. And when it hit the 200-day, I said that it was a good entry here. I would place a stop limit on it. I do like it for the long term, but I still would place a stop limit at around, $1.69 in my view, but that's what I think of it. All right. Clear on Baba. Thanks. What about Baidu? Yes, I don't mind Baidu. Anonymous donated $5. Appreciate you. A lot of people are asking about Chegg. So let's go over it. I assume it's because it tanked. This is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what you call a falling knife. You don't want to get in this. Wait until Chegg finds support. It's very easy to do. All you have to do is let time go by and monitor this. This is right now a falling knife. I would not play this. So there is an opportunity there at some point. That opportunity is not today, my friends. How do you want to play TTD? I already played TTD. It's a large part of my portfolio. Thank God. It made a quick recovery, and yeah, I'm already in TTD. Neo is one that I think is going to be a sleeper for a while. They missed on deliveries. Do they report today? I think Neo reports today after market, to be honest. Yeah, but I think it's going to be a sleeper for a while unless they report something that's completely out of the ordinary. And, until they say, if they report something that's completely out of the ordinary, then, if they report something that's completely out of the ordinary, then they will likely, see a pop. But, they already said that they came in short on deliveries and blamed supply chain problems for it. But I do think that NEO will stay trading in this range between, $35 and $50 for a long time until they can prove otherwise. They're not even coming close to selling a decent amount of cars in China yet. They are a leader in, if you're just isolating the luxury EV space, but almost every other car company, including Tesla, sells more than it by a mile in China. So fully appreciate you, brother. Thank you, Z. Appreciate you, Daniel. What do you think of AMC's chart? AMC is one of those stocks that I think you could sell cash secured puts on anytime it gets below $40. Whenever I watch your video, listen to you, it feels like I'm misunderstanding trading. Hell yeah, I'm going to do it. But once I'm at my own shit, Papa Z, that's why adopt me. I will do dishes. I will do dishes. I don't know. I don't know if the dishes are enough. Tell me what you can cook. Papa Z, you explained nicely on the IV. Appreciate you. Great channel. Keep it up. Thank you, Money Making Mitch. Appreciate you. How long did you spend options trading before you found consistency? This is a very good question, Mike. I really like this question. I would say it took, if I'm being honest, probably 2 years before I found consistency. So initially, and I've talked about this before, but at a previous job that I had, we had an options trading group at work. And that's where I think that was, in my view, was one of the most formative experiences of my options trading career, because, we were a group of 4 people and we were bouncing around trades back and forth all day at work, looking at charts. I was paper trading at the time. And I do think that if you can get with people in person, and if not in person, then remotely is next best. If you can get with people that also are doing the same thing all day, every day, that's why the trading group is a great resource for a lot of people. But if you can get with people in your life where you can discuss trades every single day and bounce ideas back and forth, that is going to be extremely formative for you and will fast track success in anything you do, not just with trading. But initially, I was basically, I got into, obviously was excited. I was young. I was making money in my software job. So I did a lot of YOLOing here and there, learned the hard way that's not the way to go. And then started to try and find strategies that would give me more consistent income. That's when I found vertical spreads, and then, took the vertical spreads, moved on to diagonals and calendars and double verticals and iron condors and whatnot. But I would say that whole process where I was really comfortable in my own skin as it relates to options trading, and knew almost exactly what strategy I wanted to play for every single event and every single chart and every single stock. That took me, I would say, a good 2 years. And that's being honest. I'd love to tell you that, I was some sort of prodigy and I picked it up in 2 seconds. But, I paper traded for a good 3 months. And it took me a good 2 years to be able to get comfortable with, finding out exactly what option I wanted to use on what, right? So when I'm playing, even when I'm playing call options, which I don't normally do, on something like Roblox, there's a good reason for it. It wasn't just, a guess. I'm going to just play calls on Roblox. When I'm doing an Iron Condor where I'm expecting a stock to finish in between a range, there's a good reason for it. When I'm playing a credit put spread, it's because a stock is sitting at support and I'm expecting it to stay there, like with PayPal, even though that trade didn't work out. But that's still the trade that I would make each and every time looking back, right? So, yeah. Tony Lee, appreciate you, man. Loyal watcher, loyal donator. Appreciate you always, man. Thank you so much for your donation, $10 to St. Jude. My question asked multiple times over an hour, and on my phone, donations come up anonymous. Oh, usually, well, it's probably because you're not signed in, Jerry. Probably you're not signed in, which is why they come up anonymous, unless there is a bug on the YouTube side. But ask your question again. I didn't know that was you. Ask your question again. And guys, again, leave that thumbs up. I hate having to say it. If you're watching this and you haven't for any reason, leave the thumbs up. All right. Yeah. Leave your question, Jerry. Tony, if you have a question, let me know. And I know I missed a few questions before, so let me know as well. Can you please check GEVO? I will. Do you think Volta missed the bus? Yes, I talked about Volta briefly in my video yesterday. I do think that on a retracement, there's a good opportunity there, but I do think that the boat has been missed on a Volta hitting all-time resistance here. So wait for a retracement in my view. Now it looks like they do have earnings coming up. Do they? Let me see. You could potentially play earnings if you're really wanting to be freaky. Yes, November 10th after market close. What does the options market say about Volta? Let's see. Oh, wow. 33,000 options open today. Oh, wow. Almost 12,000 $15 calls were open. I will look at this after I get off the live stream. That may be very interesting. We will look at that. And then Neo, I just want to see if you guys know. Yeah, so Neo reports after market close today. And we can look at the options on Neo. And for those of you that aren't familiar with why I'm doing this, the options market, is one way of telling what the market sentiment is on a certain stock at a certain time. So when you hear people talk about options flow or follow the money or follow the options, it's because of that. And again, you can use Thinkorswim for free, where you could actually see the options metrics here under the volume column. But I tend to use a pay service like Market Chameleon. You can get some sort of discount if you click the link in the description, I believe. But I think Market Chameleon is the best in terms of laying it out. I love the interface. You can literally click on, any single expiration and see what the options flow looks like. It will even tell you here what the volume and open interest is for every single expiration without having to click it. It's all right here for you. So that's why I like using it. Now with Neo, it looks like there is a ton of long interest on Neo. So it looks like folks think that Neo is going to, at least they're hoping that Neo actually beats out earnings. So you see that there's 25,000 of the $45 calls, 25,000 of the $44 calls, almost 9,000 of the $43 calls, 7,000 of the $42 calls, 9,000 of 46, 16,000, almost 17,000 calls at $50. So, you could play a YOLO play on Neo based on this. I will likely look at something a little more conservative, maybe a diagonal spread, maybe an Iron Condor if the IV is right. We'll see. But yeah, here's what the option chain looks like for Neo for calls that expire on Friday. There could be a decent YOLO play here, but keep in mind it's a binary event. And just because the options volume looks healthy does not mean that the stock is guaranteed to go up. It's just that that's what traders are expecting. And we all know that traders aren't necessarily the best sources of information, as they are just gamblers that have access to a computer. That's what I think of traders. All right. I have calls at 1176K. What should I do? If you have that much money in calls, then I would hope that you know what the fuck you were doing, Elvis. Sorry to be so candid, but I'm tired of seeing people overloading and not knowing what the hell's going on. You know, you don't do this with anything else in life. It's crazy that you would do it with trading. You know, even when you're gambling in a game that you know the rules. I just can't believe that people do this with options where they overload this much and have no idea what it is they did or what they plan on doing or why they did it. I hate seeing it. But yeah, sorry to say, but if you spent that much on options, then you have already, made your own decision to do that. Make your own decision on what to do now. Don't rely on somebody else. Ali, can you check GEVO? Yes, I already said I would. Thoughts on BCH and LC? Funny enough, I talked about BCH, I want to say a month and a half ago. That's not the right BCH. This is the right BCH. And I said that BCH will likely see a pop at some point. It was coiling. It was trading in this tight sideways trend. But it tends to do this. There is resistance at around 791, and there is good volume coming in. You could try an entry here, hoping that it hits that 791. But yeah, I think LTC was one that nobody expected, because I think a lot of people wrote off LTC. But again, you want to buy these things when nobody's looking at them and they're at clear support levels, right? I think the boat has been missed on LTC. Does it mean that it can't go up further? No, it can likely go up further and maybe hit that $300 mark even. But, it's not an optimal trade at the moment. And I definitely wouldn't hold BCH or LTC for the long term. They're not investment coins to me. All right, so I've gotten 10 million questions about GEVO, so let us go over it. Yes, do I like an entry here? Yes, I do like an entry here. Why? Well, because again, just like I talked about with previous setups, when something is coiling like this in a tight range, this is when you want to get in on a stock or a coin that you are bullish on. So I don't mind an entry here, as long as you put a stop limit. Now, they are reporting earnings. Let's see what the options market actually thinks about these earnings. This actually might be one that I will play after I get off the live stream and get back to the Discord. So let me see. We have 12,000 calls coming in at $10 expiring November 19th, because GEVO only has monthly options. So 5,000 calls coming at $7.50, 12,000 calls coming in at $10. That is what the market thinks of GEVO. They're going to report, it looks like, they're going to report tomorrow after earnings close. So I will likely look at this afterwards, but based on just the options data and based on what the stock is doing, I think this is a fairly low risk entry as long as you don't oversize. If you are going to buy the stock, I would set a stop limit at maybe the $6 mark. But keep in mind, you're dealing with a low float, high volatility, low priced stock. So just keep that in mind. All right. I talked about Roblox quite a bit. You missed the boat. In my opinion. Is Peloton done? Yes, we talked about Peloton quite a bit in the Discord group. I just don't see how an overvalued company that relies on people staying home is going to make it is going to make it in an environment where the world is opening up. They're going to have to diversify into something drastic, right? Maybe they could say the word metaverse in their next earnings call and rally from there. I don't know. But they're going to have to diversify into something drastic because right now the stay-at-home play is not working out for them. Made 9K on Iron Condors on Amazon. Thank you for your advice. Ahmed says, no problem, man. No problem. And yeah, I like seeing people winning. All right. Let's see if I'm missing any donations. And if you guys donated, please post your question again. Roblox, talked about it again. Please stop spamming SKAI Lite. I see your question. Stop spamming on Roblox. I talked about it already. Can you tell levels on Tesla? Already talked about Tesla. Thoughts on PayPal? Talked about that quite a bit. Why is PayPal falling this bad? Already talked about it. Bad earnings and slashing of price targets. Talked about it quite a bit. Let's see. PayPal replaced eBay with Amazon. I don't know how the market doesn't see that as good. Just because of guidance, it will be back. I still like PayPal. It doesn't mean that it has to move when you want it to move. Sold LTC, put it in a real project. Good for you, Aiden. What do you think about Tattooed Chef earnings tomorrow? I don't really have any thoughts on it at the moment, to be honest. Who saw Roblox? Matthew says, not only did we see Roblox, we actually played Roblox, and we had this play as well as a cash secured put that we made 62% on. So happy about that trade for sure, and happy mostly to everyone in the Discord who took it. Mara chart. So I talked about Mara, and again, if you're part of the Discord, you'll see that I not skipped over, but I was looking at Riot as a sympathy play for Mara because the boat has been missed on Mara, but we did a play on Riot, as you could see here. I said Riot has been sitting at the 300-day moving average quite some time. It has been the obvious laggard in the crypto mining stocks, with Mara and Hut rocketing past highs. Riot filed a $600 million offering in September, which is why it tanked and is seen as overvalued. However, Mara has a worse price-to-sales ratio. I like Riot here as a sympathy play for the other crypto mining stocks that mooned. It's fairly low risk. You could set a stop limit at around $23.50. This was back when it was $30 just a few days ago, and lo and behold, we were rewarded for buying the dip and rewarded for our patience, and Riot had popped to $40. So, that's why I liked Riot better than Mara, because there was still an undervalued opportunity. And if you guys are fans of this channel, you know that we look for undervalued opportunities. That is really, I would say, the mantra of this channel. So that is why I liked Riot over Mara, because there was more opportunity, and we ended up being right on that, thankfully. And again, if you guys want to join the private trading group and the Discord and all these trades and the options trades, the stocks and the crypto, and chat with thousands of people, link is in the description. Sign up below. My buddy lost 800K on Tesla. Sorry for your buddy. That's why you don't overvalue. And that's why you always, should be looking at how to improve your charting skills so that you know what the price that you enter represents. Can you talk about Roku? Let me just mute this guy because he's spamming. All right, muted. Anonymous donated $5 to St. Jude. Thank you so much, Anonymous. Dinesh, thank you so much. Let me know if you have a question, Dinesh. Also, what's his face? Oh my God. Jerry, post your question again. I can't seem to find it. F-Cell. Monica, I talked about F-Cell already. You falling asleep? Okay, there's Jerry. 3D Systems. Triple D, triple beat on earnings and tanked. Any TA or guidance? Again, earnings is a two-pronged thing. Did they beat on earnings but give bad guidance? I don't know. In terms of the technicals, it looks like it's finding support here. Sure, you can make a play on this. Not really quite sure what it gave on guidance, but we could see its valuation is horrible for one. Same thing that we saw with Palantir, that even giving good guidance and beating earnings sometimes is not enough if the market agrees that your valuation currently is terrible. Again, you can disagree with that if you like, but based on the traditional valuation metrics on paper, Palantir currently is not valued very well, and neither is Triple D. So that's likely why it dropped, is because of its valuation. So yeah, you're right. It did beat out on earnings. It gave good guidance, and it beat out on revenue. But such is the game. Pay attention to valuation again when you are looking at these stocks as well. Valuation is a big part of it. But just because you have all the data doesn't mean that you're going to always make the right choice, because the market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. So yeah. Hazy, what about Diz earnings? I believe we have a play on Diz earnings. I think we have a double calendar play on Disney, if I'm not mistaken. If not, then it's something that I have in my mind and I haven't sent out yet. Let me see what I have on Diz earnings, to be honest. Did I send one out? No, I actually didn't. Oh, sorry, I'm looking in stocks. My bad. No. We did have a call spread that Goku, who is one of our master traders, had opened and closed yesterday, but I currently don't have a Disney earnings play. How I will likely play it is probably an Iron Condor or a double calendar, whichever one pays more. Expecting Diz to stay in a range between 165 and 185. So that's likely what I'll be doing. But yeah, Roku is one that we've talked about before. And, like PayPal, it is finding support here. It is still one where I still think you need a stop limit. And I would place a stop limit at around, the 260, 267 range, but I would not trade this without a stop limit. However, I don't hate an entry here, especially being that did they report earnings? I think they reported earnings. Let me see. Yeah, they already reported earnings, and it looks like they beat earnings. So, I wouldn't trade this without a stop limit, but I don't mind an entry there, to be honest. All right, Anonymous donated $5. Doug and K Fubo repost. Thank you for the donation. Fubo, again, is trading in, just like stocks like NEO, is trading in a range. It did see a pop based on, I think they're the official gambling partner of, what was it? Was the NHL? Keep me honest, guys. I think it was the NHL, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it NASCAR? Yeah, it was NASCAR. Okay, there you go. Yeah, Fubo Gaming lands first sponsorship with an NBA franchise as well. That's not huge news, but yeah, good on the up and up. Horrible valuation, to be honest, but it does have great growth. So that's where you get that contrast where a company is growing so fast that can it overtake its poor valuation if it continues to grow and improve those valuation ratios, right? Improve those earnings, improve those the sales value, the book value, etc. So yeah, I don't mind Fubo here as a dollar cost average. It is coming up on resistance. So me personally, I would not buy it here. I would wait to see what happens here because it is at historical resistance. And yeah, you can afford to wait and see what happens with Fubo here. Do they report after market close? Let me see. Oh, shit. They actually report today. That's a big one. Because just like QuantumScape and just like what was the other one that we talked about? Lucid, right? When something is knocking on the door of resistance so many times, we saw pops in both of those, QuantumScape and Lucid. So depending on what Fubo says tonight, we could see a pop past resistance as well. And it looks like the options market is somewhat pricing that in as well. Not a ton of options activity compared to NEO and some of the other ones that I looked at. Not a ton of options activity, but there is bullish activity on the options front. So if you wanted to make a bet that Fubo would break resistance here, that's fine. In terms of buying the stock, I personally would wait and see what happens on earnings. If I missed an entry at the 300-day moving average, I'm more than okay holding out, guys. I'm more than okay saying that I missed the boat. It has saved me more times than not. So yeah, Amazon is killing it. Yes, Amazon, like every blue chip stock that I scream about, you have no excuse not to buy this at major moving averages, Facebook being the other one. I still can't believe that it was at the 300-day moving average, seeing a retracement currently. So there will likely be a nice entry on Facebook. We have a covered call on Facebook as well in order to protect against any sort of drops. PayPal, people keep asking about PayPal, ignoring the fact that I've talked about it a while on this chat. So rewind it, please. What do you mean paper trade? Duck Fam says. I mean trading with money that isn't yours, monopoly money. Webull has a paper trading platform. TD Ameritrade has a paper trading platform. Charles Schwab has a paper trading platform. Unfortunately, Robinhood doesn't. But basically, you get to trade with monopoly money and practice your trading without actually using your real money. Anonymous, another $5 to St. Jude. Thank you so much, whoever that was. Does debt of AWK concern you long term? Not really, although it's not a heavy stock for me. But yeah. Do you trade smaller cap stocks? It ebbs and flows. So I do want to join your membership. Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. It ebbs and flows. So for me, I trade according to what the market is doing. And right now, I don't think that the market is providing that many opportunities on small caps that are as easy of trades as large caps are, right? There certainly are small caps that are rocketing, but I think that you will lose a lot of money trying to pick the one that is rocketing versus picking a large cap to rocket, which I think to me is a lot easier. Is XRP mooning? That's funny because I did have an XRP alert saying that you can actually buy it. I can't remember at what level. It's not up so much. It was up 5% yesterday, 6% the day before. But yeah. All right. A couple more and then I will bounce because we've been going almost 2 hours. What do you think about Tilray? I talked about marijuana earlier, so rewind it. What level do we need to buy it for the Discord access? Anyone except for, I think there's like a $5 support level. So anyone besides that one. Is it a good time for weed companies? I talked about that already. Airbnb had an alert on Airbnb as well. I think that the boat has been missed on that. How about SHIB? Talked about Shiba Inu already. Rewind the tape. Thanks for the stream, boss man. Much love. Appreciate you, Jag. Appreciate you. All right. I think I'm going to get back to the chat because there are a lot of opportunities that we uncovered on this live stream that I cannot wait to go back and trade. So I'll definitely look at NEO. I'll definitely look at Chegg and look for opportunities there. And I will post them in the live stream. Thank you guys to everybody that donated. I really appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. And I know that St. Jude's and the kids over there appreciate it even more than I could ever. These are so fun for me. You know, leave a thumbs up if you got anything out of this. It really helps this live stream as well as the future live streams. Thank you guys for joining. You know, you're everything to me. Thank you guys so much for making this what it is, for making this fun for me to keep on coming back here and doing this. Yeah, again, if you want to be part of the Discord, sign up. Link is in the description. We welcome everybody. Would love to have you guys. There's over 4,000 traders there. We talk about stocks, options, crypto all day, every day. We go over charts, talk about trades, opportunities, etc. And then just shoot the shit as well. It's a great place to hang out. So jump on. Would love to have you. With that said, yeah, stay safe out there, traders.